fire sign. How are you doing there, Eric?
That's great.
I wrote, what's up? I wrote a thing up. I just thought about this. If you guys win your last 3 games of the season, you could have a 10-win season this year, which would be a huge jump up from last season. I know that sounds a little redundant.
It'd be, that Matt Rhule year 3 leap that he's had at both Temple and Baylor. I was definitely optimistic about that. Definitely happy with where we are, 7-3. It's obviously an improvement over last season, going 6-6 in the regular season. So getting a regular season wins is big. If we win, the last 2 regular season games and the bowl game to get to 10 wins, that'd be, I think, a huge step forward and generated a lot of excitement around the program heading into next season.
So this is the thing, I write a description for every show I do, and besides Raiola, I can't think of any. Your running back. Okay, so your running back is Emmett Johnson, but you don't have any superstars in this team. And even did you feel Raiola took a step up in year 2 compared to year 1, even though he got broke his leg in the USC game? Is that?
Yeah. Just a hip drop tackle. It's legal in college, which I didn't realize until that game. But just an unfortunate thing to go down with that injury, especially in such a close game. But I think to the point about Raiola, I think he did take a step forward. I think he's protecting the ball better. He still has some of the same flaws that he did as a freshman. I know Nebraska's given up, at least until the USC game. I think they're one of the top teams, if probably not the top team for sacks allowed. A lot of people have been unhappy with the offensive line, although I don't have the numbers, but it does seem like Raiola holds onto the ball quite a while, waiting for a wide receiver to get open. So have to give him some of the blame for some of the sacks he's taken this season. But overall, I think he's protected the ball better. I think he's made more throws. I think the wide receivers have been better this year. Isaiah Hunter and Dane Key, I think, were an upgrade over the receivers last year, so that's definitely helped as well. I think he did show signs of improvement, although I was hoping to see a little bit more of a deep passing game. Nebraska hasn't really done that with either quarterback this season. I know both players rank towards the bottom in average depth of target on their passes. So, it's a little surprising with how much talent they have, but it's been a positive. And then, like you were saying, Emmett Johnson, I was excited about him going into this season. I thought he was going to be Nebraska's first 1,000-yard back since 2018. Although I did think he would do it. He hit 1,000 yards in just the first 9 games, which was he's the 4th player to do that for Nebraska in the last 30 years. So some pretty notable backs. Joined Ahmad Green and Amir Abdullah as the other 2 to have accomplished that. Amir did it twice. But that puts him in some pretty great company just at Nebraska as well as all of college football. He's really been a breakout star. I think he's one of the best backs in the country. There's some Heisman buzz in Lincoln for him now. I don't think he'll make it to New York, but he's making a claim to at least be in the conversation, which is a very pleasant surprise this season.
So I looked up and I saw that Raiola got sacked 27 times last year, and in 9 games he got sacked 27 times too. So he was going to get sacked more this year than last year. That's what I saw. I guess the question I have for you is Raiola coming back next year, or is he going to enter the transfer portal? Have you heard anything about that? We got to think about that every year now. It's reality, unfortunately.
I came on with you end of last season, and I think it was right around the time he said he was coming back, but there were some rumbles that he might be considering Miami. They really are interested in him. But like you said, it is going to be an every season thing. Don't know how much you follow college football recruiting, but his younger brother, as of this morning, was a commit for about 2 years, or I think a little over a year to Nebraska, just decommitted. So that's adding to the tension of whether or not Dylan Raiola comes back now that his younger brother is no longer planning on coming here. there's kind of two sides to that, though. Obviously, we have Dylan Raiola. TJ Latif has played well, and his appearances against bad opponents, and even his one start against UCLA. And then Nebraska has a pretty talented quarterback in the 2027 class. So it was looking like there wouldn't be a lot of room for the younger Raiola to have a path to starting at Nebraska. So on one hand, it's, maybe he just wants to go to a place that he can play immediately and someday transfer up, or maybe it's a sign that both him and Dylan Raiola are thinking about leaving Nebraska, and we'll find out probably in about barely even 2 weeks.
I mean, do you find this aggravating in a way? I mean, that every year you got to re-recruit these guys every single year. I mean, I love that they can get paid now, but it's now another thing. Well, now what they closed the window. There's only one window now, right? There's only one. There's not the spring window.
Yes.
I think it's only in January.
Yeah.
So that at least that's it. But every year you got to worry about him. And that's what I mean. So are you happy with the trajectory of the program now with Matt Rhule? Because he's staying now, right? He signed the contract extension, which you put up. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with where it's been. I mean, I've been a proponent of giving coaches more time. I thought I was fine with even giving Scott Frost that 5th season after he didn't show much through 4. But when they fired Scott Frost, I thought, all right, he's proven he can't get it done. So I definitely think the direction that Matt Rhule has taken the program, improvement every year, it's definitely a positive sign. He is building momentum in recruiting. The 2026 class is going to be a small class. Nebraska has one of the youngest rosters in the country, both in terms of who's playing, but also its depth. So with the new cap of 105 players that they have to get to over the next few seasons, this was going to be a small recruiting class of high school players, probably add some stuff to the portal. But he is building a strong 2027 class already as a 5-star commit from in-state safety. So the direction the program is going, I think, is a really big positive. And it's been more gradual than maybe I had hoped for, but I also think it's been a realistic improvement and a realistic trajectory going forward.
Because the thing I wanted to ask you is that you look at the top, I guess you would call it's Ohio State, Oregon, and when you put Indiana, I don't know if this is going to last, but we know that Oregon and Ohio State and Michigan, we'll see. It depends a lot on Bryce Underwood. But do you see the program getting into that top quarter in the next 2 years maybe? Or is it the roster is really young?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be at the very top of the conference with Ohio State, but yeah, it's going to get to the 4-15. I mean, I'd also put USC up there. I think they have a chance to make the playoff even this year.
Yeah.
Have to beat Oregon still. But I mean, yeah, I think you're looking at every year being the top is going to be Ohio State and Oregon. Then obviously, as long as Cignetti's at Indiana, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think Penn State's going to be obviously better than they were this year, but a playoff contender, like you said, Michigan, and how Bryce Underwood develops, they're going to be competing again. And so, there's a lot of, there's 5 or 6 teams that I think are going to be really competing for those 4 or 5 playoff spots every year. Can Nebraska move from, 7 or 8 to 5 or 6 over the next 2 years? I think it's possible, but we'll see if that's enough to kind of put them in the playoff contention or not.
There was, I just said something in my head and it went out. But what I was thinking, okay, so you beat Cincinnati week 1, which was a nice win. That's a nice win for you guys week 1. And the thing that stays in my head is the 29 in a row to AP ranked teams, 29 losses in a row. And I feel like if you get that first, which I thought it was happening this year. I thought you had a shot against Michigan. You definitely the USC game. I was rooting for you guys. And you went to the you went to the UCLA game, which you guys were blowing them out, and then it got a little tight at the end. But I really feel like you have to get that first win over a ranked team, and then that's going to propel you. That's a big thing for your program. That 29 games. Oh.
Yeah, man, it's like one of those things that it's spanned 3 different coaches now, the struggles. Some people are annoyed by the narrative because, well, we're blaming Matt Rhule for something that Mike Riley or Scott Frost did. But I mean, like you're saying, it's once you get that one, it kind of, you can do it, so you can do it again and again. But yeah, it's second longest active streak in the country right now in terms of losses to ranked teams. So not a fun place to be.
It's not no. And I mean, I follow you all the time. I love what you put up on. I love what you put up on Twitter and everything. And you're writing the art. Are you still writing all those articles? The what if, like you're comparing different decades? Is that still going on? The articles you're writing for?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be continuing that series this year. We'll see in the off season. But yeah, I'm still writing with the Nebraska Cornhuskers on SI, part of the SI Now network. So I'm doing, yeah, but kind of an analytics focused preview and review series, as well as just kind of an interesting stat each week. Seeing how does Emmett Johnson rank compared to, past Husker running backs through 9 games, or this week I focused on how Nebraska's defense was one of the best in the country against the run in 2024. And now I think they're like 94th in yards allowed rushing per game. But
What
they're one of
caused
the top
that?
passing defenses.
What caused they lost? They lost certain guys. Is that what happened? Why they dropped to 94 this year?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. You lost to graduation to defensive linemen and Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker, who I think are both on NFL practice squads right now. I think losing Tony White had to when Tony White, the former defensive coordinator, went to Florida State. I think he was a better coach to defend the run than John Butler's is. But obviously, the passing defense has been much improved this year. I think that's what John Butler focused on while he was spent time in Buffalo. So, kind of makes sense that that's that unit took a big step up while the defensive line got a little worse. Although the defensive line is another really young unit, whereas the 2 corners are both seniors. So it's a little more experience in the secondary, and hopefully next year the defensive line takes that step forward and becomes a stronger unit again.
Do you think Emmett Johnson comes back for his senior year, or is he gone?
I was hopeful until that last game against UCLA. I was hopeful he'd come back into that last game against UCLA. No, he was I read he was the first running back in Nebraska program history to have a 100-yard receiving and rushing game in the same game. I just think with the the lifespan of NFL running backs and how quickly kind of they can be a starting running back and then you're out of the league in just a few years, I think it's probably in his best interest to make the leap to the NFL if he gets, even around 4 or 5 grade from scouts, which I think he's playing himself into. Um, just his combination of being able to catch the ball and run the ball to the backfield. He's really developed some nice patience as a runner. I think it's probably in his best interest to make the leap. But who knows with NIL, someone going to come in and make him a huge.
I just heard something. Oh, you're back. You're back. Yeah, that he takes a big. So who you maybe think of, Eric, is Scattaboo. Was a guy who people didn't think he'd fit in. He went to the Giants, and I mean, I know he hurt himself, but he had a good. He was good. Had a nice run with the Giants this year. So.
Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
No, it's okay. It all happens. It happens to all of us. That's why we do this stuff. No, yeah. But that's what I was going to ask you. So I agree with you. It is such a short shelf life that a guy's like, okay, I get another year beating the crap out of me. Unless the NIL money is that high, then he would stay. But also, it's just taking time away from him, his NFL clock, which is sad to say that the clock is so. Yeah. So what? That's what I wanted to ask you. So I have on I talked to Dale Bliss, who covers Oregon football. Interestingly enough, also Big Ten. I'm not impressed with USC. After seeing them play, did you think they're that good a team? This USC team, you really think they're that good? I just don't.
I mean, I think
they're okay.
I think their passing attack is, one of the best in the country. But I don't know if they're a complete team.
Yeah,
I think they can upset someone when you're just that good at one thing. You know, if you're just clicking on all cylinders, have 450 passing yards, you could beat anybody. But I mean, I thought Nebraska was very comparable in terms of how good at where the programs were at the time. I think Nebraska wins that game if Dylan Raiola stays healthy the entire game. That injury, I don't want to say TJ Lateef wasn't ready, but you know, coming in cold in the third quarter of a big game like that, especially as a true freshman, I think that's kind of an uphill battle for both him and the coaches, knowing what he's ready to go out there and be capable of doing. Obviously, he got ready by the UCLA game, and it seemed like there was a more dynamic offense for him at that point. But yeah, I don't think USC's much ahead of where Nebraska is. I just think they have more experience, a little more talent at some of the key positions, but I think the gap isn't too big between those two programs right now.
Because that's what I wanted to ask you. So you have Emmett Johnson, and your leading receiver is Hunter, who's a sophomore. So he took a big jump up this year. Nizra Hunter took a big jump up. He didn't play that? Did he play as much as freshman year as he is playing this year, Hunter?
That's not working. I don't think he played a lot. He was a transfer from Cal.
Okay.
I think he had, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 yards as a freshman. But yeah, Dane Key was brought in, I think, to be the top receiver, and Hunter is the number 2. But at least it seemed like Hunter was becoming Raiola's favorite target, and I think even with Lateef in the last game, Hunter may have had more targets than him. I didn't look closely at the box score that game, so.
And you have your Lyndon Myers, your big tight end, because I feel like every program you need that guy. Now he's a junior. You think he's coming back next year? You think he'll come back, or probably?
Yeah, I think he probably will. I don't think he's done enough to pop as a surefire draft pick. I think he's got the talent and could, but I think he's a guy that needs more time.
Right. Because you're gonna have to, and then because you talked about it, so Wright and Singleton are both seniors. So you got they're playing to get a lot of playing time. They're gone this year, and as you said, so who's going to replace? It seems like you're set at quarterback. If Emmett Johnson doesn't come back, of the running backs, is it Ives? Is it Mosey? Is it Mosey? I mean, those guys. I mean, that'd be a huge step up. Do they have the talent that's commensurate with I'm using big words today. With Johnson, do you feel that they are guys that can, or is there a guy in the pipeline? I mean, I guess you do transfer portal, but you really need it. You need a running back. I mean, you can't go by committee, but I feel like Johnson this year, as you said, has been really, I guess, exceeded expectations in a way, right? I mean, 9 games, 1,000 yards, and he had 100 and 100 against UCLA. He's 1,100 yards already with 2 games left to play. I mean, 11 touchdowns, almost 6 yards, over 5.5 yards a carry, plus another 336 catches out of the backfield. So this is a guy who's, getting it done, and who's going to replace him. Yeah. That's why I love talking to you, because I'm like, now I can talk about this year, but I'm curious, what's down the pipeline?
I mean, I'm excited about Mosey. He was a wide receiver commit that they moved. It may have even been this summer. I can't remember what he played in the spring, but yeah, they moved him from wide receiver to running back once he got on campus, and it's been I think he's shown some flashes, but he's obviously a true freshman. Ives has been here a few years now. I do like him. I don't think he has the potential to be a 1,000-yard rusher like Emmett Johnson did. So it's probably Mosey. I do think that's going to be a position they target in the transfer portal. I did see Kansas State's running back had already entered the portal.
Yes, I saw that. I did see. I did see that. So I thought, and that's someone I think that you put. I think it was you or someone else put that. That's a guy that's in the pipeline. Well, that's what I want to talk to you about. The kid from the kid who went from Tulane to Oregon, Hughes, Mekhi Hughes is already dropped out of school. He wasn't even there for a game or two, and he was injured. He didn't travel with them when they went to forget what game they went to. They were and he didn't even travel with the team to the game, and he's out of the program. And I know they spent money to bring him out to Oregon from Tulane. So there's guys out there I feel that you can get that are unhappy where they are right now. So
Yeah. Dylan Edwards is the Kansas State player, and
okay.
Yeah, he spent time at Colorado. I remember when he was at Colorado, he was kind of the receiving back, and I saw him play one game at Kansas State. He fumbled a punt return, and I think got injured on that play. So that's all I've seen him play this season. But I think he's a good player, and is probably a guy that Matt Rhule we'd reach out to, even if Emmett Johnson comes back. I think just adding more depth at running back. I don't like how many carries Emmett Johnson has, just as terms of a percentage of the backfield carries.
Too much, right? Yeah, I'm even looking at right. He has a ton of carries, and the other two guys combined have 33 carries total, and he's got 203. There's no disparity there. It's most of the carries. So, I mean, and I'll tell you, Latif for a freshman, I thought he looked very comfortable out there. I know it was UCLA, which is. But I'll tell you, Indiana had to pull out had a phenomenal catch by that kid Owens, right? I think it was Owens to make that catch to win that game, and they were beaten and that's going to be a tough game going into Penn State. And then Iowa is always that's the game. They didn't they win by a field goal? You guys always play on Black Friday usually, right? Usually that's a Friday. That's the day after Thanksgiving. That's always to Iowa, and Iowa almost beat Oregon at home. They had to give a last second field goal. So. It's going to be a nice test to end the season. And then from there, I guess, if you win those, what were we going to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm really excited to see how Latif does against Iowa. I think that's kind of going to be the standard for me, is if he can be a power 4 starting quarterback, or maybe has to go down for a little bit if Dylan Raiola comes back. But with a few games of film on him, I was always a sound defensive team. If he can do well against them, I think I become a big believer that, maybe this guy could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it, right? Exactly. And also, it's a good place for him to go into Penn State. They're going to have a full house. That's a good test for him. And like you said, Iowa, to me, I saw a stat. They haven't had a 300-yard passer in. It's like 83 games or something. Like that's not their game.
Oh, yeah.
And every year they just win. They win 7 to 10 games. They just find a way. At the end of the year, they're playing in a bowl game and they're playing somebody good because they're scrappy. That's a scrappy team. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to work out for them. Work out for you guys because, I mean, have you been checking out the college football playoff at all? Because it's funny, that's what I wanted to ask. Like, how many years you're away? I mean, because I'm curious to see. Like, I look at some programs. Like Rutgers said next year they're going to put more money into NIL and all that stuff. I go, you guys can put $30 billion into the program. You're not winning it. Like, there's certain programs I think are never going to win. But Cignetti showed at Indiana that I know they haven't really. The only team they played was Oregon, a ranked team. I think that's all they played this year was Oregon, basically. And they'll play and Ohio State. And Ohio State really hasn't played anybody. They beat a Texas team which shouldn't have been number one. So I'm kind of curious to see how the Big Ten fares in the college football playoff this year. And, because you guys beat Cincinnati that first game and I was all pumped up. And then I was like, I was looking at the rest of them and I was like, oh God, I really was hoping. Ever since I started talking to you, I root for Nebraska because I really think it helps college football for like one of you guys are you're a staple. Back in the day, you guys every year, Osborne every year, you had big linemen and you guys ran. And, I think like you think Rhule's a good coach, right? You're happy with Rhule as a coach?
Yeah. I have kind of the same concerns about him that I think Penn State fans had about James Franklin, about can he win the big game? That's why when they're talking about, hey, is Matt Rhule going to go back to Penn State, his alma mater? Just thinking, well, you're replacing a coach with kind of the similar flaws as the guy you just got rid of. So that was, I think, the one comfort I had that they weren't going to hire him is because, yeah, maybe Rhule can win, 10 games pretty consistently if he stays at a program long enough, but is it going to be 10 games and then lose the bowl game? Makes it to the playoff, losing the first round of the playoff. So he still has to kind of get over that, his own reputation of time at Baylor and at Temple of not being able to win those big games as well. But, where Nebraska's at, I think it'd be a mistake to try to say, hey, let's try to do something new again after 3 years of progress being shown in those three. So I think
right. And who you're bringing in, that's what I always feel like. Like Penn State, they said they're going to go after the guy from James Madison. That to me was like when Napier went from Louisiana Lafayette to Florida. That's a big from Sun Belt to SEC. And you look at some of these guys, and they're like now Franklin's going to Virginia Tech. One of my friends feels that he's going to win 8 to 10 a year. I go 8 to 10. I said, and I know the ACC's weak, but I'm like 8. That's a lot of wins. You expect him, and they said he could turn it around. I go, yeah, he's going to win the games, and he's going to lose the games. He needs to win, and like Matt Rhule's, you got to beat a ranked team. You got to beat that ranked team. And I think, and that's the thing too. If Raiola goes somewhere, he has to go somewhere else. He's not ready. I don't think he's on anybody's radar yet for the NFL. Would you say that? I mean, I haven't heard any talk like, oh, when he comes, he's going to be the number one pick. Or have you heard? What are they talking about him back out there?
I mean, obviously, just with how highly he was,
right?
His high ranking as a recruit, you're obviously hoping for the NFL. I think like I was saying, his flaws, how long he holds onto the ball. I don't think he sets his feet well before he throws. He's got incredible arm talent, I think. He is making a lot of off-balance throws. He's made a throw while he was falling parallel to the ground. He had one while he was falling backwards that he made. So there are some mechanical things that I think he really needs to improve on to be a high draft pick. I think he may have the pedigree, even if he doesn't improve a lot of those things, just to be a late round flyer because he is big, strong. He's been around football his entire life as the son of an NFL player. But yeah, there's definitely some things that he needs to fix, I think, to be considered maybe an NFL starter in the future. But you're right. I'll listen to Todd McShay's draft coverage, and he hasn't mentioned him at all. He talks a lot about the 2027 QBs because that's probably when Arch Manning will be drafted. Guys like Lenore Sellers if they come back. So 2027 is already looking like a strong quarterback draft class with how many guys it seems like aren't going to be in the draft in 2026. So that makes me think that, maybe Raiola does end up playing through his senior season, and it's probably in his best interest with some of the things I think he still needs to improve on.
And I'm watching Arch, and I feel like the hype is too much on him. I thought he played well. My cousin went to Texas, so we went to Texas-Georgia game, and I thought he had good moments, but I don't think he has the talent around him. I just don't think it's not that good a team. He doesn't have great wide receivers. He doesn't have a great tight end. And I feel like it's going to be, he's not going anywhere. He's staying in college. I think he could stay in college another 2 years for me. Sellers too. He looked at the end of the game. I think he had 3 sacks in the last series. I mean, they were up 30-3 in Texas A&M and they blew it. I mean, that was crazy. So I hear what you're saying. And I want to love Arch Manning. And they keep saying it was his best game he's played so far, but it's not enough for me to say, oh, he's a definite NFL. And I don't feel all the guys that are coming out this year, Cade Klubnik, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I'm like, a lot of the guys coming out this year. I'm not that they're talking about the LSU kid who didn't have a good year this year, but what's his name?
Nussmeier.
Yeah, Nussmeier. That's who people are saying because he has more experience. But look, did you think Jackson Dart was going to come in the NFL and do it? He looks pretty. I mean, he's made mistakes, but I feel like he looks pretty good this year. So, I mean, Raiola, listen, he's a big guy, good arm, but like you said, you got to work. You watch it. We watch it all the time. Who was I watching on Monday night? Wasn't getting his feet set. You were watching some of the guy wasn't getting his feet set. Who was I watching on Monday night? Or Sunday night? I was watching Goff. Even Jared Goff wasn't getting his feet set, and he had a terrible game passing. I know they had pressure on him, but it was like all the things that people talked about him in the past came to fruition during that game. You saw all the things that he does wrong, and so it's nice to see that a guy like Goff makes mistakes and Raiola can. I feel like where's he going to go? He's going to have to learn a new system. I think it'd be good for him to stay with the program, and then there's something to be said about building a winner where from where they came from. That's what I feel. I talk too much.
I mean, I thought when he committed, he was going to give Nebraska 2 years, pretty much no matter what. Even if his freshman year was terrible. Now, I thought if this season went really poorly, which I don't think it was until he got injured, then I thought he might okay, try to hit the portal, see if, place like Georgia or Miami or just any kind of big program that's in the playoff hunt is looking for a quarterback. At this point, I would lean that, yeah, he would come back, just work another year with Dana Holgorsen, hopefully build some more chemistry with Isaiah Hunter. Really, I think Holgersen's a really good quarterback coach. I do think I don't know if it's completely turned over to Dana Holgersen's system. So maybe this offseason they let him have more control over the offense since the old offensive coordinator is still on staff at Nebraska. But yeah, I think it's probably the best for Rhule and Nebraska to have him come back, and I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised with any decision after next year if he transferred to play senior year somewhere else. If he tried to make the jump to the NFL, if he has a good junior season, but yeah, I would lean a return for Rhule next year.
Do you have any? Do you know next year's schedule? Do you know if you're playing anybody like a big out of conference, or is it pretty much garbage games? Because I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
It's an easier schedule.
It is. Yeah, I thought so. I didn't. I was curious because you guys played Cincinnati this year, which I thought was kind of cool. But I was wondering, I was like, so my girlfriend went to Michigan, so their first 4 games are cream puffs. It's like Central Michigan, Western Michigan. I'm like, this isn't, or Nevada. I go, that's not. I don't know what you feel about that, but I feel it doesn't prepare you for anything. I think it prepares you. You don't want to you want to come out of the game uninjured and not, maybe work on some stuff, but it's not really preparing you to play against the tougher teams. I feel if anything, it just gets you a little soft and everybody just is, and as a fan of, and a fan of the team, I don't want to see my team play crap teams and that's not going to be a competitive game. I went out to Oklahoma. I saw Oklahoma play Ole Miss, and that's what I wanted to ask you about. So I go see Mateer play, who'd come back from the hand injury and hand surgery. He looked terrible. He was holding the ball too much. He got sacked. Then they go down to Alabama and they beat Alabama. So all of a sudden now they go from a team that I was like, oh, they're now eighth in the college football playoff. And I'm like, and basically the rest of the way I think their schedule is pretty easy for them, that they have a really good shot of going to the college football playoff, which just blows my mind. It's just like, and I wasn't impressed with that team at all. Not a lot of weapons on offense. Defense was good, but material. And then they went to Bama and they beat a Bama team that had won 8 in a row. So I find this whole season interesting, how it's been so up and down.
Yeah, obviously Ohio State and Indiana have both. They've looked beatable at times.
Yes, very beatable.
Lost, so they've got that going for them. But it still doesn't feel like there's a dominant team in college football at all. A&M's the other unbeaten, and like you were saying, they were down 30-3 at half. It's like every team looks vulnerable, and I think there's still 20 teams that I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they ended up winning the national championship.
Now, do you like that? Do you like that, or do you not like that? Do you like that? Do you have that more opportunities, or do you like a superpower? Like Nebraska, listen, what was it, 95? That 95 team with Phillips and oh my God! When you guys blew out Florida in the what was it, the Fiesta Bowl? It was like watching a pro team play. You guys. It was unbelievable. Him and Frazier was just like bam, bam, bam. Every play was an explosive play. So do you like that, or you like the parody now? What's your feelings on that?
I've enjoyed the parody of the last few years. I really think both the transfer portal and NIL have really balanced out college football. You have guys that might be really good players that can jump up to different programs. Obviously, a lot of the guys at Indiana were transfer players and have been able to contribute quickly and make that program have a quick turnaround. So I do think overall the parity is good. The 12-team playoff is definitely fun, but there's also part of me that I liked how much a single loss could derail the season. It's like every game had such importance to it. If A&M loses to South Carolina in a 14 scenario, that could end their chances at a national championship. Right. So, I'm enjoying the 12-team playoff more and more, especially with the parity, because I do think, spots 8 through 16, you could make a case for any of those teams where I thought when they first started discussing the 12 team that, even the 6th seed wasn't going to have any chance at winning the national championship. But I think all 12 teams that make it could, make a run for the title, even like your Boise State's last year. So I think the parity is good for the sport. I'm not ready to say that the 12-team playoff is, or even if they expand it again, but still going to watch it. So
right, because the FCS has a 24-team playoff, and they've been doing that forever. I think D3 does a 24, if I'm correct, and it works. And maybe they think, 24 is too many, or they're taking kids out of class. I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter. You could do it in December, start early December. Most classes are done. I'd be even okay with the 24. I really would, because you know what? Then I think Nebraska could see, hey, you know what? 12 is going to be hard, but if there's 24 teams that gets into the tournament, that's where we could build. That gives other team programs like Nebraska thinking that window closes for them to actually build toward a playoff team. I think, my opinion. So,
yeah,
I
would agree with that. Because, even I would say the 12 team is probably good for programs, like Nebraska, that you're not going to jump Ohio State, but can you get ahead of Michigan, or Michigan, USC, Penn State? There's a chance that on your best years you could. As a Nebraska fan, don't like being complimentary of Iowa, but a program like Iowa, I think, is set up really well in the 12-team playoff, where, like you were saying, you're probably not going to win fewer than 7 games with how things have been at Iowa. And, when things do go well, you get a good schedule, have some good seniors on your team, you win 10 games, and now, hey, you're the 4th or 5th best team in the Big Ten, and you're making the college football playoff. So I do think the 12-team playoff is really good for that, to help those programs improve and, kind of take that step forward.
Because I just see, you see the top teams, the speed they have, like just a runner, like even the defensive players run like antelopes. They're just like so fast getting to the ball and everything. And I see other teams, and I'm like, you see the disparity so often, and I'm thinking, if you just get that one win over a ranked team, just get that first, and it'll really propel you guys. And I felt, you guys beat Cincinnati, and then went on a run, and then got blown out by BYU. I think, or was Utah? I think it was Utah. And now you got Utah. BYU and Utah are both in the where's Utah? Yeah, Utah is 12, and they're 11 and 12. They have a shot of making the damn college football playoff. 2 teams from who would have thought that BYU, with a freshman quarterback wearing number 47, would be playing for a chance at the national championship. How about Texas? Texas Tech put a ton of money into that program, a ton of money, and now they're 5th, and they got a real good shot to make the playoff, which, it's just unbelievable. I still, Indiana to me is, I see people in New York City wearing Indiana clothes. I've seen more Indiana shirts and sweatshirts than I've ever seen in my life. Like, they're totally buying in, which Signetti, whatever they're paying him, it's not enough money. Where, that's what I and like Illinois is another team that is like a little bit ahead of you. And I feel like, I'm just thinking of the teams that are ahead of you right now in the end. Michigan, I think Michigan hasn't really they barely won this past week. So I'm thinking of you. I think if he was healthy, you guys would have beat USC. I think USC is going to get there. I think they're going to get beat up by Oregon. I really do. People think they're going to go in, and I don't think it's going to be. I think Oregon's got a pretty good team. Got a lot of speed. I think Dante Moore's got a little better. I'm really curious to see how USC plays them. I think they're a 9.5-point underdog, but. Now, are you guys favored going into Penn State, or are you?
No, it's about the same margin as that USC game you said. I think it opened or quickly moved right after opening to 10.5.
Because you got the freshman.
Yeah, I think the last I saw was 9, but that was 2 days ago, so I don't know if there's been any more movement.
Right.
But that surprised me how much of a favorite Penn State was to start. If I was picking straight up, I'd probably take Penn State at home against a freshman quarterback on the road.
But not that much. You would have, but not that many points.
Yeah. I think it'll be a 1-score game either way. Probably lean picking Penn State, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think their quarterback is anything that special either, although their running backs.
Oh, God.
My research what?
Right. Who's their star running back?
Well, they have what is it? Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. They both have over 3,000 career yards.
So Singleton got his first big run against Indy. That was his first big run of the season. He took off. So that's what I'm. Yeah, they got that two-headed duo right there. That's the thing. Singleton can break any play. That's what they said. So that's the thing. But I think they got a freshman quarterback in there, if I'm correct, because when Drew Aller got hurt, they got isn't a freshman? I think it's a freshman quarterback in.
Yeah. I
forget his name.
Freshman or sophomore.
Yeah, freshman or sophomore.
Yeah, he's young, but hasn't played a lot. But I mean, he was also a pretty highly ranked recruit. So kind of similar to Nebraska, where the 5-star goes down, have a high-rated 4-star there. But yeah, I don't expect them to try to throw the ball much against Nebraska with how good Nebraska's pass defense is, how bad the run defense is. They could have 300 yards rushing if they really want to commit to running, and that's going to be my fear going into that game is they're going to run all over Nebraska.
Right. They're going to. Yeah. That's the thing. They're going to run it. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. And Michigan lost that guy Haynes, who was on pace for like a 12, 13, 1,400 yard rushing year. I mean, he was rushing 100 yards every game. Now he's done for the season. So that's the thing too. Yeah, I really would like you guys. And then the Iowa game's at home, which has to help you. But I would love you guys to finish, with a 9-win season. It would be, and Iowa's ranked. Iowa is ranked right now. Yeah, they're in the. No, they're out. Oh, I thought they were in. I was wrong. And not in the college. They're ranked in the poll. No, they're gone too. Yeah, they're gone. My bad. I thought they dropped. Yeah, I guess they dropped.
Yeah, I knew there was a chance that they're going to come to Lincoln as a ranked team, but I thought they'd fallen out. But
yeah, because North Texas was ranked for the first time since 1959. I thought that was interesting. Actually, there's 3 Group of 5 teams that were in the top 25 this week: James Madison, North Texas, and Tulane. Which I was like, that's amazing for 3. And Tulane is going to lose their coach. Summerall's going to go somewhere else. That's the thing too. They lost their former coaches at Houston. They lose every coach when they have a good year. They're gone. So that has to stink for a program like that. You build up a program and then the guys are leaving and whatever. So yeah, I'm very curious to see. I'm curious what time's the game on Saturday against Penn State.
Is it early? 6 p.m. Central, I think. So.
Okay. So it's a night game. So it's gonna be a whiteout. Okay. Yeah. So now, do you predict scores when you do your analytics, or you try to stay away from that?
I do it, but it's more based on kind of a gut prediction based on the stats. So
I get destroyed.
I get all week kind of looking at the numbers, preparing an article, and then by the time I finish that article, I feel like I've got a decent feel for where the teams are and who's going to win. Doing that last year, I was like, in 2024, I'm like, thought Nebraska was going to beat Indiana when I started writing that article, and I'm like, this Indiana team's really good. So yeah, kind of feel like by the end of my writing process for the preview, I have a decent feel for the teams, and not done yet, but I'm leaning probably a small Penn State victory. Just I think they're a more balanced team, and they've got the talent to exploit Nebraska's biggest weaknesses.
Which are the biggest weaknesses for the Nebraska team?
Definitely the run defense. I think it's ranked 94th this season. Although a lot of the damage has come from mobile quarterbacks like Bryce Underwood. He had, I think, a 40-yarder run where he went untouched for a touchdown. Sorsby looked pretty good against Nebraska in the opener for Cincinnati. Jaden Mayava, I think he had 80, maybe 70 yards rushing against Nebraska, and that was his best game on the ground. So mobile quarterbacks has really hurt Nebraska. Even Nico Iamaleava. It's hard to say his name.
I know, me too.
He had a
me
pretty
too.
good game on the ground last week, and
he did.
It seemed like Nebraska would be about to get off the field on 3rd down, could have a 3rd and 12, and pass was defended nicely, and then all of a sudden he takes off and picks up 14. So,
does that drive you crazy? That drives me crazy. Yeah. You play great in the first 2 downs, you got everybody covered, and he just takes off, and you're just like, it's deflating. It's just deflating.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, fortunately, Penn State's quarterback I don't think is very mobile. At least based on his stats, he's not. Although Iowa's quarterback, I was looking it up. He's tied for the third most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback for the last 30 years of Big Ten football.
And he looks slow as molasses. They had a play at the end again. Who'd they play? It was not was it USC? Yes, at USC where the guy he ran it and he threw it. He had him go too far over. He was pointing him and he threw it and he didn't have any room to get him. But he made the catch and still didn't get it pushed out. He almost got the foot and he barely got. And you could see him but he can take off. They're a sneaky little team. They always got these white wide receivers with like 5'8", 180 who just catch everything. They just catch everything. And look, that's the thing. What did you predict? What did you predict? Did you do a prediction before the season started, Eric? For Nebraska? Do you remember what you had him?
I can't remember if I did. If I did, I think I would have picked 8-4.
That's what I thought you said something like. I remember you saying something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you're on right. You're 7-3. I'm getting greedy. I want the 2 wins. I mean, I don't like you said. They're going. It's totally different atmosphere. They're playing over 100,000 people. They got their first Big Ten, and they beat up UCLA, which you knew was going to happen. But yeah, I guess it's going to depend on your freshman quarterback. I mean, that's what I'm curious to see what he's going to do. I mean, and he doesn't look like, right? He's from Compton, right? Isn't he from Compton? He's from Cali.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was playing in front of the home crowd, and he had a lot of family there. He did not look like it was. Didn't look like the situation was too big for him. He looked pretty calm in the pocket. I mean, he's going to make mistakes, but yeah. Now, who is the biggest recruit coming in? You said you have a small class, but who do you think will make the biggest presence, or you're hoping to make the biggest presence of next year's recruiting class?
I was just looking at the class with the news of losing Rhule, Danny Odom, cornerback. I think it was just today or maybe yesterday he got bumped up to his 5th star.
Oh, he did.
I mean, I'm not a big believer in young cornerbacks, though. I feel like that's a position that takes some time just adjusting to the speed of the opposing wide receiver and kind of understanding the game. So, but Nebraska's losing its top 2 corners next year, so it's might be a situation where he has to play no matter what. But it's going to be a small class. I think the number I saw was 91 freshmen and sophomores on the roster right now. So
wow, that many.
Yeah, you're going to be leaning on both of those classes the next 2 years. So don't expect kind of anyone in this, at least any of the high school players, to maybe make a huge impact next season. But that 2027 class is probably even more exciting in my opinion. Player from Omaha, safety, Torrey Pittman III. Some services have him as a 5-star DB as well. Trey Taylor, the quarterback, has been doing a lot of peer recruiting and is really trying to bring in some offensive talent with him in the 2027 class.
See, I like that. I like guys like that are trying to bring guys like, hey, come with me here. We can do something great here together. Yeah, I like that. So the question I have for you, from this year, from the who started this year, was there any recruits that exceeded expectations, met expectations, and were below expectations on this year's that were recruited that you knew were going to play this year? Was there anybody in this team this year that you were like, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that, but I kind of was curious if there's anybody, because I was looking at the roster. I mean, you're right. There is a lot of, let's see.
I guess I wasn't expecting TJ Lateef to kind of win the second quarterback job. I thought he'd be kind of more of the long-term project at quarterback.
Right.
They had, I forgot where he transferred from a lower division, I think NAIA, that Jalen Gramstad. I thought he was going to be the backup. Just a guy who's been playing college football for 5 years, wants to be a coach. I think he'd have a pretty good command of the offense. But when Lateef just won the second job outright, that surprised me a little bit. And obviously how well he's played, I've been pleasantly surprised. Like we talked about Isaiah Mosey moving from wide receiver to running back. we're not using the backup running backs very much, but I'm excited to watch him play and grow because I do think he has potential to be a kind of an explosive running back and a big player in the future. But then I wasn't really expecting him to get on the field at wide receiver, so that's been nice. The other wide receiver in the class, Cortez Mills, thought we'd see maybe a little more of him. The last play I really remember him not making was against USC, and it seemed like he ran the wrong route, and Rhule threw the ball to the DB instead. There was some miscommunication with him and Rhule.
Since I started talking to a lot of you, when I talk to you and stuff, I look at the game differently now. I used to look, it's the quarterback's fault. No. Got to watch the route. Like you see the guys stop, don't go all the way, kind of slow down. That quarterback's throwing to a spot. It's all a timing. And I'm like, you know what? I think Arbitrary Analytics made me think a little differently now about this kind of stuff. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'd say the last guy that's really excited me is, I don't know how to say his last name, Cade Petrak, a defensive lineman, which I think that's another position that would be hard for a young guy to get on the field, just adjusting to the strength of, 23-year-old guys who have been in strength and conditioning programs for 5 years. But he started making plays. I can't remember if it was then. I don't think it was against Cincinnati, but, by the Akron and Houston Christian games, he was blowing up plays in the backfield, and he's continued to make plays even in he's not a starter, but when he comes in, he's still making plays in the Big Ten. So getting that kind of production out of a true freshman defensive lineman's been really exciting too.
Wait, what's his name again? What's his name? I wrote him down. That's no.
Cade Petrak.
Because I looked up Williams Nwaneri, a freshman who leads the team with 2.5 sacks. To come in as a freshman and lead the team with sacks. Now, I don't know what games he got the sacks into.
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, he may have had one against USC. Yeah, I can't remember when they came, but yeah, he was the former 5-star. I think he's from Missouri, committed to Missouri. Only played 2 games for them last year.
That's the kid. Yes, that is him. Oh, right. Yeah, he came in highly recruited. Like Missouri went hard after him, and he didn't want to. Okay, so that's the kid. Okay, so that makes sense. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the linebacker Javin Wright has a good shot to play in the NFL, to play Sundays? Oh, I just got a little pause.
I'm not a big kind of film guy and all of that. I think he'll have a shot. I don't think he's going to be a high draft pick by any means, but he has made some plays. I think I don't know if it's scheme or what, but it just seems like the linebackers have been out of position more than I've expected. Just looking at some of the big runs that Michigan had against Nebraska, it seemed more like, I don't know who was all on the field, but it felt like it was more of a scheme breakdown a lot of the time than now. A lot of people are saying, Michigan dominated Nebraska. They rushed for, I think it was 270 yards. But on a lot of those plays, there was a 10-yard wide hole for the running back to run through or Underwood to run through. So Nebraska's players were just kind of out of position. And I don't know if that was poor execution, poor play calling, what, but there's been some stuff.
And your DT is John Butler. Is that what you said? John Butler?
Yeah.
He was with the Bills? He was with the Bills. He came from the NFL to
he was brought in as an assistant defensive coordinator last year. So he was on the staff, but wasn't the DC. And then when Tony White left for Florida State, he got promoted to the full-time. Yeah, he was the secondary and defensive pass game coordinator for Nebraska.
So you think there's a
defensive coordinator in waiting?
Oh, okay. Did you feel like do you think there'll be changes to the coaching staff after this season? I guess guys will be moving regardless, but you think they'll keep Butler around? Have you heard any rumblings on Butler?
Probably stays.
Okay.
Like I was saying, the defensive line is young, so I put some of the blame on that. The secondary has been one of the best in the country, and that's kind of his specialty. So, the one coach that a lot of people have wanted to see gone is Dylan Raiola's uncle, Donovan Raiola, that coaches the offensive line. but I think he comes back next year. Well, they
Really?
have given up a lot of sacks. Like I was saying, I think
Yes, they
a
have.
fair amount of those sacks are the quarterback holding onto the ball too long. We'll see how, TJ Lateef does. He's more mobile. Is he going to take those sacks? He's going to get rid of the ball faster. But, just maybe it's partially just kind of a family thing with Dominic Rhule being a Nebraska legend. Obviously, his son Dylan being the star quarterback. You keep the uncle just to be on the staff, but I haven't been blown away by the offensive line, but I think it's been adequate. So I could see him coming back. But yeah, I don't see Rhule making any staff changes. Although the old offensive coordinator, who's now the tight ends coach, Marcus Satterfield, I do think he might be in the last year of his contract.
Why did that's what I wanted to ask you. How is Satterfield still how's he still on the staff? I mean, usually he gets demoted and you finish out the year and you're gone. So he's still there, which I find kind of interesting. Usually.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's kind of a money thing that he was being paid as an offensive coordinator and they weren't going to change his contract. So he's like, well, still pay me Big Ten offensive coordinator money and I'll coach tight ends. So, and I do, him and Rhule have a relationship. So I think it was also kind of, hey, this is the most money you can make. Let's keep working together. But yeah, I'm not positive if this is the last year in his contract. And even if it's not, I could potentially see them parting ways and him trying to get an offensive coordinator job again, at maybe a smaller program.
And out of the players, we talked about, who do you think's the most draftable right now? I guess it would be Emmett Johnson of this team, you said you have the two senior corners. Is there? I know you said you don't watch film, but is there anybody you're hearing about that's getting rumblings? I mean, I don't even know. Is any of them going to get? Did anybody get drafted last year high off the Nebraska team? Last couple of years, no, right?
I think
I'm trying to.
Round 5 may have been the first one from last year. I guess Thomas Fedoni got drafted to the Giants last year, but I believe that was a round 7 pick, and I do think did he score a touchdown for the Giants? Do you know?
I thought Fedoni? He did. I think he did.
Oh yeah, Ty Robinson went in the 4th round last year, defensive tackle to the Eagles, and then Thomas Fedoni is a 7th rounder to the Giants. So yeah, not a lot of players, just 2 in the last 2 drafts. And I think Emmett Johnson could, Sierra Wright, the cornerback, the former USC player, I could see him being drafted. I don't think either would even be a day 2 pick though. I missed
what you. I missed the one you before that. I missed the one we went a little. We went a little saw on that one. What was the one before you said after Johnson? Who'd you say? You think Johnson would be a day 2? No, not Johnson. Who would you say after?
3.
You
maybe
think,
if he
you think
tests really well, I think
really
maybe he could sneak into the 3rd round. But yeah, I'd say maybe a 4th rounder for Emmett Johnson, and then Sierra Wright, the cornerback. I think he's been really good. I can see him testing pretty well, and he's probably my pick for the highest drafted Nebraska player this year.
Wow, and that comes with time. It's funny, Michigan had all these guys drafted, and I remember, one of the guys. I think he got traded for Quinnen Williams. He went to the Jets, I think. And he was a 1st-round trip by the Cowboys, and he wasn't that guy. There's always guys who go high in the draft, and they're always like, and it's interesting, that so you said 2 guys got drafted last year, and Nebraska used to be like, you had every lineman drafted, you had everybody drafted. It's interesting how it's changed. Are you happy now? Would you rather be back in the Big 12 than the Big 10? You think that would be, do they talk about that at all anymore or no?
I mean, everyone here is happy with being in the Big 10. Just, the money, the teams are playing. If you get to the 5th spot, and if you're 5th in the conference, you're in the college football playoff conversation at this point. So, yeah, I think pretty much in most ways the move's been good. I know a lot of national media always likes to say, oh, Nebraska should have stayed in the Big 12, and well, I do think it's more of a geographical fit. Nebraska always recruited Texas well when it was in the Big 12, and could tell players and their families, like, hey, we'll be playing 2 games a year in Texas, basically. I do think there's been some adjusting, but where the Big 12 is at today, with Oklahoma leaving, Texas leaving, I'm happy to be in kind of one of the 2 premier conferences rather than still power conference, but I think the Big 12 and ACC are below the SEC and Big 10. So,
yeah, I agree. I agree. And where did Trevor Alberts? That was interesting. That kind of just ended. I mean, his alma mater and everything that fell through. Where's Trevor? Oh, he's in Texas. Where is he now?
He's at A&M, Texas A&M.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So.
They have money to. I always find it interesting, Eric, that once a guy is Elko has that one good year. Let's give him a 6-7 year. So now all of a sudden, year 2 into the 7-year deal, they go backwards, and you have to, like, I heard Shane Beamer. I think even to get rid of Shane Beamer at South Carolina, it's going to cost them $30 million to walk away. $30 million for a guy who's done anything, done nothing. You would love a job like that where you're like, I win 40% of my games. I work about 2 out of the 5 days a week. Really, I work hard. Other days I kind of take off. Yeah. It's just the money is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. So, I have one other thing I wanted to ask you about. We were talking about, how sports gambling is everywhere now, and you see it everywhere, and it's infiltrated college basketball, but you haven't really heard it infiltrating college football in that per se. Do you think we're going to have a problem with, gambling, like a fix? I think it's harder to fix football. I mean, that's what I was arguing before with someone. It was like, it's not like basketball. You have 5 players. It's like, it's hard. What are you going to get? The long snapper? He's going to drop a ball. Is the kicker going to miss a kick? I mean, but it worries me how much it's infiltrated all sports. It's everywhere, right? Do you have stuff? Can you gamble legally in Nebraska? Is it legal in Nebraska?
I have to go to a casino to bet.
Okay.
I can't do mobile betting in Nebraska right now. But yeah, Nebraska was one of the last states to start adding that. So, I mean, I don't know if they were the last, but it seemed like they were. But I know Nebraska said that you can't bet on home Nebraska sporting events. So I think if Nebraska's playing at Penn State, I can go to the casino and bet on Nebraska to win. But I can't bet on Nebraska against Iowa because the game's being played here. So it's kind of a weird rule. But yeah, I agree with your concept that it's a lot harder in football because you have so many guys. But an offensive lineman starts missing a few blocks on purpose and lets guys by him. I mean, I don't think you can really determine the outcome of the game in football just with 10 other guys on your team and the 11 on the other team, but you could definitely do something to kind of sway the outcome of the game. And, maybe that's enough for whatever they're trying to do illegally. So
he was saying to me, he goes, I feel 6 games. There are 6 games every NFL season. I go, where's the proof? He goes, I just feel it. I go, well, I can say a lot of things too. I can say, hey, but it bothers me. And I'm not a gambler. I talk about sport. I am not into, that's not my thing. I watch sports. I love sports, but it's everybody. I mean, the parlays, I don't even understand half the stuff. I mean, I play fantasy football. I guess that's a form of gambling, but it's scary how it's everywhere now. And every kid, the problem, you got a phone, you could run up a bill of $1,000 in a day, easy. And it's another addiction. So I was just curious what you thought. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I was just curious. I'm always trying to get everybody's opinion on that stuff because I don't know. So yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if, in the next 5 years, we hear about some college football players arrested for betting on games that are part of. I mean, I just think there's so much money and, throughout college football, whether it's, earned legally through NIL, is the guy who isn't getting the NIL deal, is he going to want to try to make $1 million doing something illegal? So, yeah, with how much money there is in sport, how much money there is in gambling, I think it's more of a matter of when, not if.
Now, does Rhule get a new deal every year with his NIL? Like, did he sign Bryce Underwood got a 4-year for like 12, 13 million. Did Riola sign like a deal like that when he went to Nebraska? Did he get a? He's making over $1 million a year, I would think. But he's making over $1 million a year, I would think, right?
The
Is he
number
doing ads?
I've heard is
what do you
3
hear?
million
A year.
for him this year. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it was that much his freshman year. I think it was over $1 million his freshman year. Then I think it went up to 3 million. But yeah, I never know how much to believe of those things. I mean, it seems like other fan bases will make fun of Nebraska, like, oh, you're paying $3 million for a guy who's doing that. So more often when I hear it, it's to make fun of Nebraska than it is as, I think, a reliable source of truth. But wouldn't surprise me. That seems like, for a good starting quarterback in a major program, that seems to be kind of where it's headed. So it's a reasonable number in my mind.
Is he doing ads is he doing like local ads all over in Nebraska, Riola? Does he do anything locally, like ad wise, like on TV or any print ad, anything? I mean, do you see? I'm just saying, if you ever see anything. Okay.
I mean, I don't think I've seen anything. I don't know. I've gotten good at just kind of ignoring ads throughout my life. So maybe he has, and I just blocked it out. He may have done something with Hy-Vee.
Right. Okay.
I know Patrick Mahomes also does that. So
oh my God.
Well,
that's the joke I hear about Riola. He's the mini. He wants to be. He got the same look like Mahomes. Wears the headband like Mahomes. Like he trains with Mahomes. So that's the joke I hear about him. But when Mahomes came out, nobody was talking about Mahomes. I remember him in college, but they weren't very good teams, but he was a good player. But again, I feel like it depends. If Riola gets with, it almost would be amazing if he went to he stays in college another couple of years and goes to like a Chiefs program, a Chiefs team where they put him in a system that works for him. He could have it depends where he goes. You see it all the time. Guys go to pros and you never hear from, I mean, if you go to Cleveland, your career's over. Cam Ward with the Titans. I don't know if you just don't know if any of these guys are going to pan out. It's sad. So I'd love him to go to a team that could get, like Seattle. I think Seattle would be, because I don't think Darnold's that good. So I think Darnold's won't win big games, but go to a team like that where he can, put him in a good system. But he doesn't run. Riola's he's not a runner. I was going to look up his running. He doesn't have rushing stats. They're negative yardage every year. He doesn't run at all.
He can if he needs to, but yeah, it's not as bad as Peyton Manning, but he'll do a lot before he has to run.
Right. Because I was watching, I was like, he's not Mahomes running the ball. Mahomes will run if he has to run. He's not running. So yeah. So, so now should we do a after the season thing? You think? Should we wait till the season's over? You want to do in the spring? You want to do something once you get tell me when you
could come back.
I'd love to have
after the regular season, before the bowl game, or
whatever you want. I just because I'd like you to come. I like talking with you. I know you're a busy man, so I was looking at the clock. I'm like, I know he's got stuff to do.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to? Yeah.
No, that was basically all of it. I mean, I know a lot more about how Nebraska's transfer portal's shaking out by mid-December.
Right, that's what I was.
College football playoff. So
that's what I'd love to talk to them, because then we could see what you guys are getting, and I like to talk about what for next year too. Yeah, let's do that. Anything you want to give any shout out on anything? What you want to talk about? What's your where are you? Where's Arbitrary Analytics?
Yeah, so Twitter is the place I'm most active. Arbitrary Analytics. Also a Facebook page, and then do my writing this season for Nebraska Cornhuskers on SI. So my long form writing and reviews of the Nebraska game and whatever opponents are playing. So post those there.
Thank you so much. What kind of dog do you have?
He's a Pyrenees Golden Retriever mix.
Wow. And it comes right from the. Is he a good watchdog? Is he good? Like he sees anything he sees, he barks at, or is he just more like
a little bit too good? He's a very anxious dog, so loves barking.
My mom has a Havanese. He's like, I'm like, dude, there's nothing there. He's like, Eric, hey, you and your family happy? What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Anything exciting? Family?
Yeah, don't know what.
Yes,
something with family. Haven't decided, but yeah, something.
I'm going with my mom. Me and my mom. So, yeah. All right. So
Well,
happy and healthy
enjoy
to
it.
you and your family. You too. I really
Yes,
appreciate
too,
you
and
coming
we'll
on.
Talk to you in December.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Hey,
See
have
ya.
a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.